Hello. In the next two tutorials, I will show you how to integrate Dojo and jQuery into your Zend Framework project. Even though Zend Framework comes with a native support for Dojo, I will mainly concentrate on jQuery because it has a much greater community support. Therefore, you will find a broader variety of useful plugins than you will in Dojo. To start off, I will introduce Zend Dojo because being a part of the core components, it is easier to understand how Zend Framework communicates with external JavaScript libraries. A web browser needs to be able to access these JavaScript libraries, therefore they have to be inside of the public folder. I'm going to create a JS folder in public where all the JavaScript libraries can be housed. And do that in case you want to have more than one, and you will be able to separate them into subfolders. The Dojo library comes as a part of the Zend framework, and it is located in the externals directory, Dojo. So you want to link this whole folder to the public JS. As in previous exercises, I am just going to symlink. Now I'm just going to refresh the project in my Aptana so it knows about the new folder. And the next thing I need to do is to tell our MVC about the Dojo library. Now, just about every JavaScript operation in Zend Framework is done through the appropriate view helpers. So we need to tell Zend Framework about the location of these view helpers. And we can do it in two ways. The first one is by telling it in Bootstrap, where you define your view helper paths where the appropriate view helpers are. So in example of Dojo, you may want to add this helper path to your existing one. But I think that's too much room for error. Instead, there's a second way where you use the Zend Dojo class on the view object and it extends it automatically. Now make sure you do this after the set help path method of the view because otherwise it's going to get rewritten. So if you set the view help before that, it's going to be erased by the set helper path. So you want to make sure that the path is already set and then you add the other view helpers to it. So in this case I'm going to use the alternative method where I use the Zend Dojo's libraries to enable the view helpers for me automatically. And it's just as simple as saying Zend Dojo enable view, and where I'm enabling the view, which is on my view object I grabbed earlier. So with this, I can now use Dojo view helpers in my view and layout scripts. For this demonstration, I will make the book list an accordion view so that I can click on a book title and it's going to display the details in the accordion. To begin, I am going to access my view from the library view scripts books list html, and I am going to enable Dojo for this script. Now I am going to use the layout script to tell whether I need to include the Dojo declarations in the header. Now here's what I mean by that. In order for the Dojo libraries to work in the web browser, they need to be included as links in headers. So usually when we include external JavaScript libraries like Dojo, jQuery, or anything else, you would link them inside of the head, around here somewhere. So nothing changed with Zend Framework. We still need to include the libraries in this space so that the web browser can work with them. Now we only want to do that when the Dojo is explicitly enabled, otherwise we don't really want to waste bandwidth or the web browser's processing power if we don't want them. So we are going to check whether Dojo is enabled in the first place using isEnabled, and once again we are allowed to use these view helpers because we have declared them inside of the Zend Dojo on the view object. So if it is enabled, then we are going to echo Dojo. Now at the moment this is an incomplete way of doing it, but I'm going to show you what this does. We're going to refresh the source code view here, and notice now how it includes the Dojo libraries up in the head. So just about where we put it, right before the closing head tag, that is where it puts the JavaScript declaration. Now at the moment it points it to the Google APIs, but you don't really want to do that for two reasons. One is that you may have an unpredicted version out there which you may not have tested. So say you tested your code for 1.32, but 1.4 comes out next week and you haven't tested it, so you may run into errors. Or it is also a performance hit. You want to have all the libraries, all the sources loaded from a single source. So to do that, we are going to tell Zend Framework to use our local Dojo libraries, which we have linked earlier from our installation folder. And we do that through set local path, and we use the base URL so that the browser knows where to look for them, and we are including Dojo from gs dojo dojo.js. So essentially we are including Dojo this file here. The next thing that you want to do is you want to include the theme that the Dojo should use, like Digit, the forms, and other components. They come with a certain style, which are called themes, and there is a couple of them available. One of which is Tundra, and I will just include it using style sheet module digit.themes.tundra, and this is available from our digit themes, and these are our available themes here that you can use. I use Tundra in this case. So let's see now what our head script looks like now. So there you go, we got the Tundra theme CSS imported, and we have the Dojo library from our own source, so it is always predictable. And now our list view is ready to accept the Dojo components to make this an accordion view.